the first duty to my one say urban environmental systems management. Oni mo gba masters ní lórí. And nǹkan tí ó túmọ̀ sí ni pé bí Olódùmarè ṣe tò ilé ayé in a way, environment wa, àyíká wa, agbègbè wa. Bí Olódùmarè ṣe tò afẹ́fẹ́ tá à ń fẹ́ símú ló ṣe lágbára tó, ilẹ̀ tá à ń rìn lórí ẹ̀ bó ṣe ṣe pàtàkì tó, omi tá à ń mu bó ṣe ṣe pàtàkì tó. So I went back to school to study this environmental, urban environmental systems management because I realized that the Creator had already created everything for human use. And we are not really putting them into the right perspective. So it seems like at that time, when Al Gore and Clinton them were propagating the environment, the global warming, and all of that. It was around that time of awareness and awakening, and the way that we were managing the resources of the universe, and that kind of prompted me to say, if we human were to be here for eternity as is designed, that, yes, of course, we will die and reincarnate. We pray that there will be never a nuclear war that will wipe out humanity the way they're going. But if human were to sustain, we must wake up and begin to look at our environment as the God that we worship. That we must worship our environment, worship our rivers, worship not in the sense of how religious, the religious connotation on it, as far as worshiping, you have to kneel down, put your head down. That's what people look at and think, oh, it's worshiping. When you're taking care of something, you're worshiping it. Some people, they say, oh, you're worshiping your wife. Not that you're putting your head down for your wife or worshiping your husband, but you're taking care of your wife. You're making sure that she got everything that she needs. We must look at this, the phenomena of nature, the creation, as God, and think of preserving them. With something that you worship, with something that you want to preserve them. So one of those things my father was saying that Bumi Bale Umi Anipa, Bumi Bale Umi Anipa, Buju Bale Ata Warawara. Ibi tá a bá gbé pósí ọmọ aráyé wọn ìsọkù bàjẹ́ síbẹ̀. Ipa tó mi ní òun ló fún omi lágbára pé omi tó pa títí tó pàdé ọ̀nà Ifá kan náà ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà kan méjì. Ọ̀nà pa títí ó pàdé omi òun ọ̀nà wọ́n pínra wọn sí mẹ́rin ló dífá fún yìgì tí sọ tá a gbọ́ omi. The stone that never dies. The immovable stone that never dies. It's in fact that taught us that the source of the river is always like next to the mountain. It's up in the hills. Gbogbo àtẹ ògbèrè awolówu ló dífá fọlówu. Olólùwò gbogbo olówú dọ́tà ògbèrè náà wọ́n ó dodo náyé já. Ó jọjọ́ kò tira wọn ni. Torí Ọ̀rúnmìlà ti sọ pé wọn ò ní firálẹ̀. wọn ò ní firálẹ̀ ògbèrè ń wọ́kọ́ olóògùn wáyà ló ṣe pàdé nìyẹn. Ẹjọ́ ẹ mọ̀ bínú pé mo ń sọ nǹkan tí ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi, mo sọ díẹ̀ ní Yorùbá, mo sọ díẹ̀ ní òyìnbó, torí pé Yorùbá tí mò ń sọ mo gbìyànjú àti tú ní òyìnbó torí mo rí orúkọ àwọn èèyàn wa kọ̀ọ̀kan bẹ̀ tẹ́ pé wọn ò gbọ́ Yorùbá. Tí a bá ní ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ yìí lọ ní gbúrúgbú ní Yorùbá, á dàbẹ̀ pé ààrò tí wọ́n mọ́ project tá à ń ṣe ni. So ọ̀rọ̀ environmental tí ó jọ mí lógún ó wà lára àgẹ́ tí mo ṣe analyse pé gbogbo àwọn natural phenomena yẹn irúnmọlẹ̀ ni wọ́n. Odò tó ń sàn, oòrùn tó ń ràn, afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ ìjọgbè, kì í ṣe pé nǹkan tí ó rọrùn náà tó ní ẹ̀là tòrò ló dífá fọjọ́ pé ọjọ́ ń bẹ níràngún ọ̀tá. Ifá ó kọ́ wa ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀pẹ̀ ìgbà tí Olódùmarè tó ń ṣẹ̀dá ayé òun ọ̀run pé inú òkùnkùn bírímù nílé ayé wà kó tó di pé oòrùn ràn. Àwọn oòrùn gan kó tó ràn nǹkan tó ju oòrùn gan rí bóyá millions of years ni tóòrùn yẹn ò ràn. Òun lè làtòrò tó ń bẹ láàrin ọ̀tá, ń bẹ láàrin òṣèré ọ̀tá, ń bẹ láàrin òṣèré ọ̀tá. Oòrùn òkúrukúrú ò jẹ́ kó ràn, wọ́n bò lójú. Ká fi ti ẹbọ rírú sílẹ̀ ìgbà tí ó tó ṣe gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí Olódùmarè tí Ifá ní kó ṣe pé Olódùmarè ṣe fẹ́ kó ṣèrè ìgbà ẹ lo oògùn tó ràn. Ìgbà ẹ ní ẹ̀mí ló tó délé ayé, otherwise inú òkùnkùn bírímù onílé ayé wà. Yàtọ̀ sí pé a sọ pé religion, Ifá kọ́ wa ní science. Ara àwọn sáyẹ̀nsì tí Ifá kọ́ wa ni mò ń ṣàlàyé yẹn. Pé Ifá ó kọ́ wa ní science. Yàtọ̀ sí pé àwọn èèyàn wa ti mọ̀ pé ókè o, Ifá o, binary system o, bá a ṣe ń print odù Ifá o, tá à ń lo 1 and 0s o, pé àwọn kọ̀ǹpútà wa intellectual tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá gbé kọ̀ǹpútà kan rí yó pé Ifá ti bá kọ̀ǹpútà wá o, pé kọ̀ǹpútà wà nù Ifá o. Ọ̀tún nìyẹn. Ọ̀tún nìyẹn. Oyè kan ọ̀tún nìyẹn nínú ọ̀rọ̀ pé Ifá ó ju ọ̀rọ̀ religion lọ. Òkúrúkúrú tá a sọ pé kẹ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe kinní ní factory torí ojú Olódùmarè ó ní báwa ṣe ń wojú sánmọ̀, bá ṣe ń wojú ọ̀run bẹ́ẹ̀ pé ojú Ọlọ́run ni àìfẹ́ ṣèbàjẹ́ síbẹ̀. Gbogbo nǹkan tí mò ń sọ yìí Yorùbá nínú in the Yorùbá tradition, we do not disrespect this element, this phenomena, because we look at them as the manifestation of God. But that's how, our religion is the environment, our religion is our heart, our religion is the love that we have. The love that we have for the universe, the love that we have for eternity. Ebi náà sàméjì ló ti sọ pé ọ̀tá yóò wá wáyé nígbà tí ẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ayé pé ó yá kí ló fẹ́. Wọ́n Ọ̀rọ̀mìlà advice ayé pé bàbá bẹ̀ pé kí ló fẹ́. Mo sọ pé o fẹ́ ọ̀la rẹpẹtẹ o. Gbogbo àwọn yòókù ò fẹ́ gbá ò fẹ́ kòkó bàbá sàṣù. Wọ́n ní eternity ni kò tọrọ lọ́wọ́ Olódùmarè o. Onílẹ̀ iṣẹ́ kú o, ilẹ̀ ò ní kú o. Àfi tó bá sá o, ayé ò dẹ̀ ní lọ́bi ọkàn o. Wọ́n ní ẹbọ gbó ní káyé rú pé kó tọrọ lọ́wọ́ Olódùmarè pé gbó ní káyé tọrọ. Ó ní ìsìnkú sí báwò nǹkan tó bá wù wá ká fi lẹ̀ sí. Ilẹ̀ ò lọ anywhere. Àwọn èèyàn tó wà ń bẹ̀ láà máa recirculate. Lọ́rọ̀ area tó jẹ mọ́ science ó ní topic eléyìí tí mo sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí lọ́wọ́ yìí o. Nínú fọ́ọ̀n náà ló kọ́ wa pé bí agbára tó ń fún kálukú Ifá ṣàlàyé pé bí oòrùn bó ṣe dáa tó ṣùpá náà dẹ̀ dáa tíná náà dáa nínú Ifá náà láti kọ́ pé ṣùgbọ́n ìwọ̀ oòrùn òfin díẹ̀ ní kàánú because bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n ná torí pé ìwọ̀ oòrùn tó bá pẹ́ lára nǹkan máa jó gúrúgúrú. Tó bá lè jẹ́ náà ni tó bá fi kan síná iná máa jó of course omi ló ń poró ná ṣùgbọ́n òṣùpá olómi roro bí tí òṣùpá ò lè kúrò lára òṣùpá o. Láwo máa ń sọ pé wọn bá lọ láàárọ̀ kò dé lálẹ́ pé ibi tí òṣùpá tó dáa dé. Àwọn ọmọ aráyé wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ lọ sórí moon wọ́n lọ ń fi àsíá wọ́n lọ ń fàṣẹ adólẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ wọ́n lọ ń fàṣẹ adólẹ̀ ní orí moon bí ẹ pé nǹkan gidi kan ni wọ́n ń ṣe sáré lọ gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Area science là ń sọ yóò káwọn scientists kan súnmọ́ Fá kán wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ Fá kán béèrè lọ́wọ́ odù Fá kán study odù. The scientists must come and study the odus of Ifá. They must study the narratives of the odu of Ifá. The science will never be complete even though we are doing good. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ herbology o. Ọ̀sán ìmọ̀lẹ̀. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ herbology o. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ ti ewé o. Lóríṣiríṣi ewé o. Bákọ́ wa o. Ewúro làgbà igi o, ewúro làgbà igi, gbogbo jẹ́ bọ̀wọ̀ fẹ́wúro, ewúro làgbà igi. Àwọn àgbà kan náà ni wọ́n kọ́ yẹn. Wọ́n ti yàtọ̀ sí ẹ gbogbo àwọn oúnjẹ tá à ń jẹ, all the food that we eat, all the herbs that we eat, all the plants that we eat. The scientists need to be closer to Ifá, to study Ifá, to study the narratives of Ifá, to study the story of Ifá, to study the story of creation from that perspective, so that they can learn more herbology, so that they can learn more science, so that they can learn more about the environment. One person cannot do it all. One person, you can't have the idea and have the view and then have the manifestation and all the other stuff. You can only just share your idea. People take on to it. You know, the generation will benefit, and if not, then the coming generation will figure something out. But Ifa is way beyond the stigmatized, tarnished religion that people, the way people perceive it. Because sometimes when you want to call it religion, some people will say, no, it's not religion, it's culture. Because they are afraid. They don't want to call religion. They don't want to call the Ifa, they don't want to call it Ifa is a religion. So they call it culture. So the herbology is humongous. You know, I wrote a book, The Cradle of Yoruba Culture. In one of those chapters, I treated a sign. And I had about maybe 20 different plants. Some of those plants are spiritual plants that we use, for omero and things. Plants of calmness. That plants of transformation. The way Suwada. The way Daguro. The plant that will prevent war from taking on. So herbology in the studies of Ifa so Ifa is way, way, way more than the religion that the people think about it. So that area is the aspect of the herbs. There's also that Ifa teaches us without divination, without prescribing offerings, without doing, the sacrifice of, anything. Sometimes if I want you to sacrifice yourself, and this is where people overlook that what we call a ball is not just what they see. A lot of times it's what they don't see. And, that religion, I'm not part of it. If you're a Babalawo in a crowd, in a gathering of our people, whether they're doing naming ceremony or some type of association meeting or something like that, when the pastor stands up to speak, they all applause. Same thing with the imam. When the imam comes to speak, imam too, okay, it seems like my time is running out. So imam too get applause, but when Babalawo come on stage, he'd be like, hey, that's where they want to go to the bathroom. All right, Baba. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off the mic, but I was, dabbling into so many other things. I didn't get a chance to speak about the work that you did, the ethical teachings with Maulana Karanga. I got a lot of stuff from that about sociology. So the other aspect of Ifa is teaches us sociology, how to live together with one another in peace and harmony and happiness. I can stop it right here. If you guys want me to keep to the time, I see that right now it's 11 to
some people have few questions to ask you, sir. Only our ìbéèrè kan láti béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín, sir. So, ẹni tí wọ́n jẹ́ ọ̀nà ìṣọ̀kan wọn ní ìbéèrè láti lọ. So, ẹ káwọn kọ́kọ́ lọ náà. ọjọ́ tún níyàn kan náà tó tún ní ìbéèrè so ọ̀nà ìṣọ̀kan ẹ̀yin ẹ lọ pẹ̀lú ìbéèrè yín.
Abọ́rúbọyè o bàbá mo kí gbogbo ilé o mo kí bàbá mi méjèèjì bàbá tó ṣẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ tán àti bàbá wa àwíṣe àgbáyé tí àwọn náà wà pẹ̀lú wa ní ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yìí. Mo fẹ́ sáré lọ síbi ìbéèrè mi kíákíá bàbá. So gbogbo bí ẹ ti ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ti ṣe ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fún wa lórí nǹkan tó jẹ́ ti Yorùbá gangan. Ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo wa náà la mọ̀ wípé ní ibi tí ó jẹ́ ibi táwa ọmọ káàrọ̀-o-jíire àwa tá à ń pera ní Yorùbá ibi tá ti wá gbogbo nǹkan yìí ni ó jẹ́ nǹkan tí bóyá ta lè sọ pé òfin ìlú yẹn ó lòdì sí ní bákan àbí méjì. For example, tẹ́ bá wò nípa ìtàn àwa Yorùbá gangan bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣàlàyé fún wa pé Ifá sọ ń sìn pé Ifá sọ story of creation of the universe. Ṣùgbọ́n tá bá wò ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ní ìlú Nàìjíríà fún àpèjúwe pé òfin lòdì sí àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ Yorùbá. So tá bá wò pé ìtàn tó ń kọ́ ó yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tí ẹ ṣàlàyé fún wa ń sìn pé Ifá sọ. So orí ìyẹn mo fẹ́ fi ìbéèrè mi sí pé kí ni ǹjẹ́ ìgbésẹ̀ kankan wà tí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ bíi bàbá wa tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin ni alákòóso bíi custodian tẹ́ àwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní custodian ìtàn àwa Yorùbá gangan. Ìtàn bí Ifá ṣe ṣàlàyé pé our creation ǹjẹ́ ìgbésẹ̀ kankan wà tí ẹ̀yin bàbá wa àti gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe pátápátá ń gbé láti jẹ́ kí àwọn olóṣèlú wa mọ̀ pé ìtàn tó yẹ kán máa kọ́ ní àwọn ilé ìwé wa gangan ni kò ṣe àwọn ìtàn tí wọ́n ń kọ́ sìn. Ìyẹn gangan ni ìbéèrè mi. Ẹ ṣé bàbá.
Okay. Jẹ́ kí n dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn. Gbogbo ìgbà ni máa ń gbé òṣùbàǹbà fún bàbá Professor Wande Abímbọ́lá. Torí wọ́n fìgbà kan jẹ́ bí advisor fún Ọbásanjọ́ lórí culture. Ní president tí ó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá o. Ó dẹ̀ rí i pé opportunity, he knows that was an opportunity for him to be in that position of presidency. Professor Wande Abímbọ́lá, he was the one that appointed him to be his personal assistant and advisor to the culture, like on the ministerial level. And here is a man that was a Yoruba man. And there was an opportunity from, I think it was the Ford Foundation or one of those organizations that were trying to help Nigeria establish a university where if somebody chooses to want to study Ifa and they don't want to go to the Redeem University, they can go there. And they vote a big amount of money that here is the money, let your country match it. At that time, Kayode was also whatever he was. Baba struggled so hard to get these people to wake up. To wake up. This is what he has dedicated his whole life, his whole career on. And they the one that appointed him. At the end of the day, when they weren't listening to him, he resigned. Let me tell you, we got a long way to go. And some of that work is not just going to be up to us, the leaders and the custodians. Some of that work will be also up to individual people that are listening, individual people that want to listen, individual people that we can reach out to, and we must not be we must be relentless. We can never be tired. We must not give up, because Jehovah's Witness didn't give up, the Catholic didn't give up, the Celestial didn't give up. They go door to door, from house to house, knocking on your door and telling you, oh, accept Jesus. In the middle of the night, early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, they go around with the bell, with the big bell, and telling them that Jesus tell you to do something. We are doing what we can do. Now, individual must do what they can do, and don't be afraid, and don't be ashamed, and don't be shy, because that's the problem with us back home. Our people are afraid, they are shy, they are ashamed of their own orientation. We have to teach them to be proud. And also, we modify our way of practice. You know what I mean? So we're working on that modification of our way of practice, so that they don't look at us as, bloody and dirty and stinky. And so even here, I tell the people here, I say, if somebody tells you to go put a ball on the crossroad, don't go put it in the middle of the street on the crossroad here, because I live in Atlanta. This is a city. This is not in the village. It's not in the farm. If it was in the village, in the farm, where it's all forest and all of that, of course, raccoon, and rabbits and all of that will come and consume whatever you left. But you leave something on concrete, you know what I mean? It's not going to go away, because it's not going to decompose. The earth is not going to consume it. Anyway, so I hope that answered the question, because we got a long way to go.
Sir, thank you very much. The next person that I have their hand raised up is Blessing Ajishafe. So, Blessing Ajishafe, you can please go with your question.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Yes, I joined this program from state of Wyoming in the United States. Omo Yoruba ni mi, from the scratch. My concern here is, I'm not Ifa worshipper, actually. I'm only trying to seek the truth and to understand the position of Ifa in the universality of thought generally, because I'm trying to context what Ifa stands for, vis-a-vis what the Christian Bible stands for, what the Muslim Quran stands for, the other major religion in the world. Now, my question to Baba, and I think Baba Mimbola might still reflect on it when he speaks, is that we are beginning to realize that it appears the Bible and definitely the Quran fell on the fallacy, of the narration about the creation of the world, and things like that, because we have come to understand that the earth would not have been created just 6,000 years ago, and Adam was likely not the first human being on earth, because anthropologists and other earth scientists have come to tell us that even the Yoruba people have existed, much longer than that. My question now is, are we sure that Ifa is not also falling into this same fallacy Because the little I know and what you have said, Baba, is that Obatala and the other, foreigner deities, Orishas, they were the one that, the story about the world began from Ife and things like that. How can we substantiate this? That is my own big concern. How can we substantiate this? Are we sure it is not just our own way of interpreting, the creation, not the creation, of interpreting, existence as, our own kind of philosophy of interpreting existence, the same way the Christian interpreted it, from Adam, from Garden of Eden, which the Muslim also subscribe to, because we know that Quran is a later document that is plagiarized from the Bible, and stuff like that. So that is my concern. Are we sure? Can we substantiate this, with more facts, based on evidence? Thank you, sir.
Okay. If I may answer your question, there's more side to every story. There's not only one side. There's always more sides to every story. So the story of the Okaneninu that descended on the land of Ife is one side of the story. And he later transgressed to the human deities. He later transgressed to the human deity, just like Peter, just like Mark, just like Michael, the disciples of Jesus Christ. And the Christian look at them and look forward to them, kneel in front of the statue, put flowers around the statue of Mary, the mother of Jesus, or even Jesus Christ himself. And we understand that. Our people didn't have no problem with it. You know why? Because they had the same side of the story. But the bigger side of the story that we have that they ain't got, that created all these natural phenomena. And that when we go to the Ocean River, when we go to Ocean River once a year and go pray and pay our homage and put our elbow on the river, we're not worshiping just the human deity. We're worshiping the work of nature. We're worshiping the work of Olodumare. So that's a good example that I can give you, because there are other, my battery is getting low and low, and I try to charge it, but this thing is not helping me. But can you still hear me?
I'm going to
Hello?
I'm going to.
So that's how we substantiate it. The way we substantiate our religion, Ifa, is that Ifa also tell us about the creation of the natural phenomena, not just the Okaleniwo Irumale. The Okaleniwo Irumale could be entity. Batala come with the dirt of the heaven to create the land in Ife, and it start to spread out and all that. That's one side of this story. A lot of the time, stories are created so that human can have a good perception and a good, understanding of it. It's not to brainwash, it's not to brainwash, but the main focus of our ancestors is the mountains. it's the river, it's the sky, it's the ozone. Baba Furulo Rere Oka Yinyi, it's the ozone. Whiteness of the cloud. Then when we start shooting chemicals in the air, you know, to the extent that, you know, the acid rain started falling and we can't grow plants, you know, and our children can't breathe clean air. What are we doing? That's why our religion supersedes. Or, you know, what you want to call it, religion, or you want to call it science or whatever, it supersedes. You know, we must encourage that you do not pollute the river. I'm always sad when I notice that they dump things in the river. You know, you see the river, you see all these plastic bags. You know what I mean? You don't see all of that here. You know what I mean? You see a plastic bag hanging on the side of the river, or even at our beaches. You know, Olokun. You know, when we're speaking of Olokun and Yemaja, we're not speaking of just only Otarini Rumale. We're speaking about the sea, the humongous sea that Olodumare created. That was the rope that tied up the universe. That's Olokun. So we pray to Olokun, we pray to Olosa. You see them doing Olokun festival. Yeah, they might have a story that in Ile-Ife, Olokun was one of the wives of Olofe and all that. It's just for the human to understand the magnitude and the perception of it. But when they wanted to worship Olokun, do you know where they go? They go to the ocean. They go to the sea. They want to worship Yemoja, they go to the ocean. All the rivers of the world flows into the ocean, and then that in turn flow into the sea. That's the way Olodumare created it. You do we find that Olokun Olagbaomi is part of the teachings of that of the Odo of Ifa that Olokun Olagbaomi is the senior. Olokun is the senior pool of water. Please don't limit the understanding only to the stories, you know, of the human perception and the human aspect of it. You got to go beyond that because that's what I did. That's what I did. If I was going to limit my understanding to but Allah brought the dirt and this and that and all that, you know, if I'm going to limit my understanding to that, I will not be looking at the ozone as part of the creation of the creator. I will not be looking at the sky as part of the creation of the creator of the rivers, you know, the sea, the oceans. I will not be looking at them in that form, in that way, the mountains, you know, the volcanic eruption, volcano, Agaju, volcano, Shango, Lufino Bakoso, the thunder and the lightning, you know, the thunder and the lightning that we don't know where it's coming from. How are you going to describe that? How else do you want to describe that? And it's somebody loud, like the thunder. See, this guy is loud like the thunder. Oh, he's loud like Shango. Oh, Shango is loud like the thunder. You know what I mean? And then it became Shango Bako. So what's the big deal? What's wrong with that? Do I answer your question?
I think Oku in your call, I'll take one more question from Lai Oladipupo. Lai Oladipupo. You can go ahead and unmute your mic and ask your question.
Igbo in Oyo State. Bàbá Ogbato, ìbéèrè mi ni pé àṣẹ Èdùà. Ìbéèrè mi ni pé mo gẹ́gẹ́ bí èèmọ̀ àwọn onísáyẹ́ǹsì ní òde òní yìí tí wọ́n ń gbìyànjú láti kó ifá sí orí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára bí ajere orí kọ̀ǹpútà, cell phone and so on and so forth. Mo ń ṣe iṣẹ́ ìwádìí kan lórí Ifá lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Mo fẹ́ béèrè ṣé ẹ̀ṣẹ̀
Come on.
Once you do have 1 minute, you might make a mistake. Láyé Ọládipúpọ̀.
Yes, mo ti parí ìbéèrè mi.
Kí ni ìbéèrè yín? Ẹ tún béèrè àgbọ̀n yín.
Mo ní of recent there's this attempt at inputting Ifá divination through computer and other electronic gadgets. But if the success of this, how valid will it be, given the fact that we have what we call Àṣẹ Ifá? Can Àṣẹ Ifá equally be achieved through computer? And if not, perhaps someone is learning Ifá divination through computer. I want to get to that level. How do we navigate it, sir?
Well, Ifá divination is not something that should only be learned on the computer or the internet. Our traditional way of learning Ifá, which is still the main medium, is to have an Oluwo. Your Oluwo cannot be Google. Your Oluwo cannot be Google and your Oluwo cannot be internet. You know, I was just telling you that Babawo, if I am a Buruba, I used to sit down while he reads people and do translation in New York for years. You have to sit in front of a teacher. We could do whatever we could do on the Ayélujára, but you have to keep in mind that the Catholic are not putting all their secrets in Ayélujára. The Muslims are not putting all the secrets of their wisdom in Ayélujára. People must not be eager they should not be eager to be, oh, I did this, I'm the one that did that. Oh, I put this on. When it comes to the sacred, because this is all we got left now. We have an organization going on now that's going to be monitoring the practice here in the United States called International Foundation for, we got Ifá Temple, then we got Ifá Council. You know what I mean? So that will be regulating, not there'll be a police, but just to put good information there for people to be aware of, and people that are members will get, they will be able to get a newsletter. But that's the fact of it. The fact of it is that we're not ready to put all our secrets into Ayélujára. Sorry. You do the best that you can. Just show them a little bit, that's all. Put a little bit there. We're not competing with them. We don't have to compete with them, especially on this level. This is all we got left. I need to just give it away like that. All right?
Yeah, I agree. I quite appreciate that, sir. Sir.
All right.
Thank you very much. So, Babawa Àwíṣe Àgbáyé, Babawa Professor Wande Abímbọ́lá, ṣé wà ń bẹ̀? Ẹ bá wọn mute mic wọn.
Ṣé ẹ ti ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá ti ń gbọ́ yín.
Mo wà ń bí.
Ok, bàbá ẹ jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ yín gbóhùn yín, ẹ kí wọn kẹ́ bá a bẹ́tò lọ.
It's okay. It's
You
okay.
unmuted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mo wà ń bí o.
Okay. All right.
Ẹni ó dún ẹ kú gbó. Ẹni ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ sì kú bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ìyà tó tó kèrè wá ẹ kú àgbọ̀ wá wòran. Òkè púpọ̀ o. Ilé yín ti ń kọ́ kà sí nǹkan kan. Ẹ kú àtìgbà níbi tẹ́ ẹ rè lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Ṣé Àràbá US ti sọ̀rọ̀ tán èmi lọ́kàn ni?
Yeah, bàbá yín ló kàn.
Mi ti á gbàgbé.
Bàbá kẹ́ pẹ́ fún wa o. Kẹ́ pẹ́ fún wa. Mo ní kẹ́ pẹ́ fún wa bàbá.
Àṣẹ wá.
Ọ̀rọ̀ wo ló wà lẹ́nu wa? Ọ̀rọ̀ wo ló wà lẹ́nu wa? Ọgbọ́n àtòyè tí a máa rí kọ́ lọ́dọ̀ yìí lèmi náà ṣe torí ẹ̀ mo ṣe jókòó.
Ọ̀rọ̀ wa ó kọ tó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ yìí ó kọ ńlá ni. Ó ní àjọ ológun dúdú tí lọ lè jàjànà nífẹ̀ẹ́. Orúkọ rẹ̀ wà nù wà. Ìfẹ́ nílé wà. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pátápátá nílé lóko lódò lẹ́yìn odi. Ìfẹ́ nílé wà. Wọ́n mọ̀ bóyá wọ́n tún ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ nísìnyí. Ní ayé àtijọ́ dé ayé Adérẹ̀mí téèyàn bá lọ Ọ̀fẹ̀. Àlejò tó bá ti dé Ifẹ̀ báyìí. Tó bá kí wọn òun fẹ́ rí Ọọ̀ni ni tàbí òun fẹ́ rìn káàkiri Ilé Ifẹ̀ ni òun pè jókòó wọ́n á lọ bu omi aha kan tàbí kọ́ọ̀pù kan tí kò mú tó bá ti mú tọkàn rẹ̀ balẹ̀ òun pè welcome back home. Ìṣèbí fẹ́ lé gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ èèyàn pátápátá gbogbo ọmọ ẹranko gbogbo ohunkóhun tọ́lọ́run tó jẹ́dá Ọlọ́run nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Tí etí yín bá ń já gbogbo ará Ilé Ifẹ̀ pátá látòrí ọba tí gbogbo àwọn ìṣòro àwọn àgbààgbà mẹ́fà Afẹ́yẹlú méjèèjì tí yín bá ń já lèmi mọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ yín ẹ ṣeun. Kí n tẹ́ wá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ bá ṣé èdè Yorùbá lẹ fẹ́ kí n fi sọ̀rọ̀ ní àbí èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì?
Ẹ lè máa yí mọ́ra wọn bàbá òyìnbó Yorùbá.
Kí n tẹ́ fẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ lórí nǹkan jẹ́ lè sọ ní èdè Yorùbá.
So the universal wisdom òye tó wà nù Ifá àti bó ṣe kọjá ọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan tí àwọn òyìnbó pè ní religion.
Ẹ ṣeun. Ìṣẹ́jú mélòó lẹ fẹ́ kí n fi sọ̀rọ̀ yìí?
45.
Torí sọ̀rọ̀ lè mí. Mo lè mọ sọ̀rọ̀ lọ tí èdọ̀lá.
Ẹ lè lo 45 minutes sí 50 minutes.
Àdúpẹ́. Ṣé ẹ rí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tẹ́ ẹ bá ń gbọ́ tí mò ń sọ ẹ máa fi sọ́wọ́ òsì téèyàn fi jẹun. Ṣé ẹ rí tí a bá ń wá owó kọ.
Bàbá. Bàbá Agboola ń kí.
Agboola.
Bàbá àwùjọwọ́ àgbáyé aṣojú àwọn àgbáyé àwọn ìjọba Agboola ló ń gbà.
Mo gbà fún ọ ṣé o ẹ kú àmúlé lọ́wọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń lọ sílùú òkèèrè ẹ tún padà sí Èkó. Kódà ẹ máa lọ ẹ máa bọ̀ òkú òní kéjù lọ́rùn. Agara òní dọ́lọ́wọ́ ọba. Ọ̀nà òdí mọ́ yín o ọ̀nà ìdí má láfẹ́rẹ́ báwa ṣe wí nífẹ̀ẹ́ nu. Ọ̀nà ìdí mọ́ wa o. Mo gbà fún iṣẹ́ rí Ifá tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí. Àánú ṣe mí àánú ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe mí tèmi náà sọ lọ́hùn. Jọ́ mi sì jí báyìí mọ́ ẹ sì bú ẹkún. nítorí ọ̀rọ̀ fàyè láti bí 50 ọdún jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ mo ti ń káàkiri gbogbo èèyàn tó bá jẹ́ èèyàn pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lórí rédíò lórí tẹlifíṣàn gbogbo secondary school tí ń bẹ nígbà àwọn òun táyé fi wà ní gbogbo nǹkan tó rò débi 1960s 1970s gbogbo colleges tí ń bẹ kò síbi tí ń ti lọ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa fàyè ẹ má jẹ́ kí kíní yìí ó parẹ́ tó bá jẹ́ pé àgbá Ifá mú tá dì mú gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó sì tún kù rálẹ̀ tó kù rálẹ̀ ló kù nígbà àwọn àgbààgbà fi bẹ níbi 1960 1970 kó á jẹ́ pé a lọ dá iléèwé kan lẹ̀ tó ìdíṣe náà tírú wa kẹ mọ̀jà lọ mọ́ ikẹ́ ó gbà bá lọ tán lẹ́wà ń sunkún ẹ̀yẹ́ sunkún fún Awólọ́wọ̀ lọ́tí àtẹ́wọ̀ Awólọ́wọ̀ sí Liberty Stadium tí a ní kébì Ògúnwádé kí wọ́n á ṣògbérè rẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ mínísítà àwọn gọ́fúnà nu ẹgbẹ́ tó dálẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ Unity Party wọ́n dúró lẹ́yìn mi báyìí Liberty Stadium kún fẹ́ ya wọ́n á ní kí wọ́n á máa sọ̀rọ̀ ǹjẹ́ ń rí mi mọ́ báyìí.
ẹ̀yin dáàdì.
àwọn ọmọ kí ló tún yí sí yìí o.
ẹ jẹun ẹ má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́mọ àṣẹ.
I have seen some strange. What are these?
I think they're showing Facebook on the. Yeah, they're sharing their screen. That's all.
Someone share screen. Sharing their screen.
Wọ́n mọ̀ dọ́rọ̀ wá méjì wọ́n dákun.
Ẹ tó bá share screen kó pa screen yẹn. Ẹ máa bọ̀rọ̀ ẹ lọ.
Ẹ wo Ọlọ́run ló ní tètè kó lé ọfẹ́ tó wákàtí kan tí ń rọ́nà wọ Liberty Stadium èèyàn tí ń bẹ nínú Liberty Stadium kò tó dájì èèyàn tó wà ń ta tí ń sunkún tí ń gbé fọ́tò Awólọ́wọ̀ lọ báyìí olóore mi ò olóore ọmọ mi ò kí ni tí ń ké tí ń sunkún ẹ má jà káwa náà lọ tán kẹ́ tó mọ yí wá ẹ wò ó ọ̀rọ̀ fàyè ni kókó ní tá a bá ń wá owó kọ pé dípò ká sọ pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn èèyàn sọ pé àmọ̀túmọ̀ Yorùbá yẹn gan bóyá àwọn kan ní ń pè wá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o orúkọ míì tá a bá máa jẹ́ ní Ifá kò sí nǹkan kan míì Ifá sẹ́rí onífá lọ́tẹ̀lé àdó Ifá lọ́tẹ̀ ìlú Òṣogbo Ifá lọ́tẹ̀lé Ẹdẹ Ifá tẹ̀wéré lé o Ifá lọ́tẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú Òde à ń ṣèlú tẹ́ múrun tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ á gbọ́ jọ ẹ ti ń kírun jọ ẹ ti ń lọ ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ìlú tẹ́ fi tẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ á gbọ́ tó yẹ pé a bá múra sí Ifá yìí ní ṣe rí orílẹ̀-èdè wa gbogbo ilé ayé ìpátá àti ìbò àtàgànyìn gbogbo ẹnikẹ́ni tí mẹ láyé ní ìbámu wá sí ṣe ìrìn àjò mímọ́ sí Ilé Ifẹ̀ gbẹbẹ gbogbo ayé ti wá adìẹ funfun wà mọ́ra rẹ̀ lágbà mọ́ àyà wá pàdídà wà nílé ajá ìṣúró ọpàdídà ò lájá bó ti tó kò lè sú wa kò ní rẹ̀ wá àwọn sọ̀wọ́n tá a bá lè sọ á sì wọ́n tá a bá lè ṣe ṣe rí Ifá is the greatest gift of the people of West Africa to the world. Let us begin from an understanding of how vast Ifá is. There are 256 Udu. Abeko. Ọ̀tàlélúgba ó dín mẹ́rin. Ká pé àwọn odù ní bí ìwé kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ìwé kọ̀ọ̀kan tá a wí yìí ẹni wípé tá a bá pé èjì ogbè ìwé kan ni. N ò fi bú ẹsẹ̀ ẹnìkankan kú ó mo kàn fi ṣàfiwé ni ó. Ṣe rí ìwé bíbélì tí a ń kà ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì a wà rí bíi 10 tàbógún rẹ̀ nínú odù ẹyọ kan lọ́nà 256. Àti ìrírú ẹ̀ rí tí Ọlọ́run gbélé wa lọ́wọ́ tá a mọ̀ túmọ̀ ẹ̀. Àwa ń ṣe kàntankàntan kí kò sí tí ń bẹ nú wa láyé yìí tí Fáò ti sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ nípa agi, nípa ẹyẹ, nípa òkè, nípa omi, nípa odò, nípa oríṣiríṣiríṣi èèyàn tí ń bẹ láyé àmọ́ bó ṣe jẹ́ o. Kò síbi tí Fáò dé láyé. Nígbà tí mo kọ́ lọ sí Canada bí 30 ọdún sẹ́yìn ẹnìkan sọ fún mi pé àwọn kan fẹ́ lọ sí ibì kan ní Canada tí ó jẹ́ pé ilẹ̀ mọ́ níbẹ̀ òkun gba díẹ̀ láàrin àkókò kan ni ọkàn rí oòrùn fírífírí gbogbo Ifá sọ̀rọ̀ pa ẹ̀ ní ọ̀bàrà méjì. Ó ní tètè ń bá lé àtàrí pọ̀nà ni mo dé tí mo gbóhùn dùrù. Igbó rere ni mo dé tí mo gbóhùn alágogo bẹ́ẹ̀ lóhùn agogo kò jóhùn tààjà bẹ́ẹ̀ lóhùn agogo kò jóhùn dùrù. Èmi rìnà títí mo bẹ́ni wéṣewèṣe wọ́n ń dífá. Èmi rìnà títí mo béèyàn wéṣewèṣe wọ́n ń dìbò. Òrò rẹ lọ fa ìgùn, òrò rẹ lọ fa ìtẹ̀. Òrò rẹ ọba wọn kó wèéṣe lẹ́gbẹ́ awo kékeré òrò rẹ wọn ọlágbà. Bí wọ́n bá jí wọn a kó wéṣe wọn a sì kó wèéṣe lẹ́gbẹ́ awo wọn a sì kó wèéṣe pẹ̀lú. Ọ̀rúnmìlà ní ká lọ pé lápẹ̀tún ibi tán wá ká ké sí àwọn òkùnkùn bíríkùn bí tí mo lọ́nu. Ifá ní òun débì kan. He arrived in one place and he found it was in this place where it is always dark. There's no sunlight in that place. Nínú ọ̀bàrà méjì táwọn wí náà tá a máa fi ṣòro. Ọ̀bàrà méjì jẹ́ ọ̀kan ní odù tá a máa fi ṣòro jù. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ débi pé àwọn wéṣewèṣe òun bá wọn ń dífá. Àwọn èèyàn wéṣewèṣe òun bá wọn ń dìbò. Èyí pé àwọn tí wọ́n pè ní pygmy tí wọn ò jù kéékèèké lọ báyìí. Bí ẹlòmíràn tó ju ẹsẹ̀ bàtà 4 Ifá débẹ̀. Ó débi tílẹ̀ tí róòrùn Ifá débẹ̀. Ó dé ilé ìwọ̀nràn níbi tí ojúmọ́ ti máa wá ti jẹ́ Australia. Ó dé ìlú gbẹ̀ndùgbẹ̀ndù tẹ̀yìn wọ́n ràn. Níbo ni Ifá òde tán láyé yìí? Ṣé rí tí mo lè ẹ jẹ́ sọ lédè Ìgbò kó lè yé àwọn tí wọ́n gbọ́ Yorùbá. What I can say about Ifá is that there must have been an ancient university in Ile-Ife long time ago. And at that time, it was possible for the people of Ife to travel to Australasia, to travel to the North Pole, to travel right around the whole world. When we salute Ifa in the morning every day till today, we say, Mo kí ọ ní ìkọ̀ àwúsí. North and South America is ìkọ̀ àwúsí. Mo kí ọ ní ìdòròmù àwúsẹ̀. Africa wà ní ìdòròmù àwúsẹ̀. Mo kí ọ ní mèrè télú. Europe ẹni mèrè télú wọ́n sì mọ tí a bá pé mo kí ọ ní ìkọ̀ àwúsí wọ́n na ọwọ́ òsì báyìí síbi ìwọ̀ oòrùn. Tí a pé mo ìdòròmù àwúsẹ̀, they will point to the ground, that is to say where we are. That's Africa. Mo kí ọ ní mèrè télú. Then they point their right hand up like this to let you know they are talking of Europe. Mo kí ọ ní mẹ́sìn àkàrúbà. That is Middle East. Mo wá kí ọ ní ìwọ̀nràn níbi ojúmọ́ tí máa wá. Àwọn èèyàn tí ò yé wọ́n ṣe bí Ifẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń pè ní wọ̀nràn bí ojúmọ́ tí máa wá rárá Ifẹ̀ kọ́ Australasia ni. Ẹ̀tọ́ bá jẹ́ Ifẹ̀ sí ará Èkìtì yóò wá sọ pé nífẹ̀ ni ojúmọ́ tí máa wá sọ́dọ̀ òun àbára Ọ̀wọ̀ Australasia ní jẹ́ ìwọ̀nràn gbogbo ẹni Ifá ti lọ tó ti káàkiri. Èyí tí Ifá jogún tí Ọlọ́run jogún fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá yìí ti tóbi ju ká gbé sọnù lọ. Ẹ̀yin tí èdè yé ni mo sọ bá sọ̀rọ̀ o. Those people who never maybe don't have the wherewithal to understand what we are talking about, well, we can't blame them. But those of us who count ourselves as intelligentsia, who are still saying Ifá is nothing. Some people will say it's not a religion. What is it if it is not a religion? Now, Ile-Ife was an ancient place where people came from all over the entire world. Because it's so long, it predated Egypt. That's why we are forgotten. That's why we have forgotten. And the propaganda of Christianity and Islam seems to have warped our thinking. Ifá is the greatest gift of the peoples of West Africa to the world. There's hardly any ethnic group of West Africa who does not know Ifá in one form or the other. The Igbos have it, they call Ifá. The Edos have it. The Fon, the Ewe, the Gan of Ghana, who you call Agani, they call themselves Gan. All over West Africa. We need, if you are a true intelligentsia, either of the military, of the police, of business, not to talk of academia. I invite all of you, don't let us uphold this special gift that our ancestors have given us and which they have shared with the rest of the world. Ifa, maybe at that time there was a way of travel through the oceans or through, I don't know how. He traveled all over the world. He was in places where they hardly would see any sun. He was in the Congo, where the pygmies live. All is enshrined. It's just one verse of Baramiji talks about all that. Ifa talks about oceans. For Ifa, there is only one ocean. But for sailors, they need to demarcate. That's why you have Atlantic, so they can signal or for themselves to know that we are in this is Atlantic. When they are Pacific, this is Pacific. When they are, but it's the same body of water governed by Olokun, Sede Ade, Abudu Joba, Ajifiluki. It's the same body of water. What does Ifa, is there anything that Ifa does not talk about? And what is even more wonderful, all this knowledge is held orally in people's minds and expressed orally. It's not written without any recourse to writing or textual documentation. The greatest